Who says that if a game is delayed for 9 years, it means it will probably never come out, except for Half-Life 3, Portal 3, and Left 3 Dead. Okay, well, who says that 9 years of development means that a game is probably not going to be overhyped and not deliver? Except for Nuke Dukes of Austria Forever, Every Citizen's Land, and Condensation of Gas Cat Zero. Alright, but who says that if a studio makes 2 perfect masterpieces and basically has an unfailing formula to spit out Monets and Degas, that they won't just fling their poo at a canvas the 3rd time around and give it a pretentious name that has nothing to do with the actual thing, like say, Ceinture de la Nature? Well, shit, that gives my opinion away already, doesn't it? Or does it? You'll never find out unless you allow me to waste 4 more minutes of your life, starting now. This might be a slight bit misleading, since I liken the game to an inscrutable flaming dumpster thrown together by the incompetent hands of a bunch of chimps attempting to recreate the works of Shakespeare, but in all honesty, it is absolutely one of the best-looking games of last year. There must have been a soul-crushing amount of work that went into rendering every feather that protrudes out of the dog thing's actually weirdly enough rendered asshole, and the grass looks miles better than the stuff outside of my house in my non-existent garden. I mean, does God use cell shading? I think not. And what's with all the bugs and glitches? I went to the local store the other day and the AI bollocked up. That, however, is as far as my compliments will ever go for this godforsaken mess. The title for one is completely meaningless, since there are more of the boy and his Duck Duck Goose companion thing than there are people willing to be seen with me in public. And the Guardian thing is complete bullshit too. For the most part, his companion, which reminds me of a satanic beast, the body of a goose, the face of a terrier, the horns of a goat, 4 bird feet, I guess the head bobbing mechanics weren't out of the oven yet, and wings of an eagle, only sadly the factory had run out of those as well, so ours has chicken wings instead, wants to eat us, and in fact he does several times. It might refer to the boy, however, needing parental control on his internet since he has the self-preservation instincts of fragile China. So you might be wondering why I'm 2/3 of the way through this review and still have yet to come around to the story, and that's mainly because I don't even get it myself. You wake up in a hole after a tattoo artist has had his way with you and must find a way out. So far, so Ico. But then the game ends and there's still no explanation as to the frat party that brought about this sinister cult of abducted dogs. So moving on to the gameplay then. Have you suffered through Ico, viewer? Y'all remember how much fun it was having to grab the princess by the wrists, force her against a corner, barking commands at her until she climbs up? Yeah, well, too bad, because you're not the one barking this time, but the AI has about the same amount of brain cells. Only this time, he also controls your ability to progress through the game, since you're too short for most of the emotional roller coasters that you have to deal with while begging your chimera thing to finally climb over the last ledge needed before you can finally hop off and do the more intuitive parts of the game. He plummets through the 20 previous platforms, which took you an hour and a half to get through. I'm not proud of this, but I reach by what now seems to be regular breaking points with these reviews when I finally give up, this time at a water section when I had to make the bloody KFC bucket drive through an underwater gate. And I had to go online to consult the internet only to find that everyone gave the game such scathing reviews as 9 out of 10. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you worried that you're going to hurt the developers' feelings and felt a good review is the only way to get them to re-release their actually good games for the second time with slightly more glistening graphics? After making for the final annoyed push through the game, it concluded with the usual bittersweet moment that Team Ico shoves into each one of their turkey's assholes with a literal flying towards the sunset moment, followed by some more heartbreaking shit that is only seen that way if you do in fact care about the flabby heavy machinery that you had to operate all this time. And I imagine would be a lot more like revenge porn if you hadn't gotten through the whole intuitive as using a honey badger's ass as a controller for a bulldozer issue. I would make another "this game is getting the last of my patience." Yes, I know I'm clever. I passed English with 60% in 9th grade, but frankly I refuse to put any more effort into this ending bit with $0 of funding than they did with a $10 quadrillion game and 9 fucking years of development. So I will end it on the same anticlimactic